Hello, everybody. Hello and welcome to today's Flipgrid live event. My name is Ann Cosma and I work on Team Flipgrid, and I'm so excited to say that we are partnering with Candlewick Press today to celebrate Teacher Appreciation Week. We are so lucky to be joined by the author of This is a School, John Schu, and the illustrator of the book, Veronica Miller Jamison. Before we get started, let me just say this. If you don't know what Flipgrid is, we are a free video communication platform from Microsoft, and we are on a mission to empower every person on the planet to share their voice and respect the diverse voices of others. And that's why we are so excited about today's event. John and Veronica's book, This is a School, shows us that school is so much more than just a building. So without further ado, let's welcome John Schu and Veronica Miller Jamison. John, I think you're joining us first.
Yes, thank you, Anne. Thank you for that beautiful introduction. And I am so excited that Veronica and I are here today to celebrate Teacher Appreciation Week. And Veronica, there are so many people joining us from all around the world. I see we have students joining us from California, from Alabama, from Canada in Toronto, Argentina, Puerto Rico, Paris, France, Ohio, so many places that are here today to celebrate teachers and students. And our book, Veronica, This is a School. How are you, Veronica? I think I lost you. Are you there?
I'm here.
Oh, sorry. I was like, no, Veronica left.
Hi, John. Hi, Ann. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. We're so excited to be here for Teacher Appreciation Day, and we're so excited to share with you This is a School, and we're so excited to have so many people, not just from around the country, but from around the world joining us today. So thank you for coming.
And I love that I see one of my former students. I teach at Rutgers University. One of my former students is here today, which makes me so happy. So I am John Schu, and I was a third grade teacher for 3 years. I was a fourth grade teacher for 1 year. I was a school librarian for 9 years. And now I get to travel all over the world celebrating stories and teachers and librarians. And I am so honored and excited to tell you a little bit about This is a School now. So This is a School is my first picture book, illustrated by the wonderful Veronica Miller Jamison. And on this next slide, you see me where it says words by John Schu and illustrations by Veronica Miller Jamison. But I don't think that slide is up right now. So oh, there we go. So I am going to talk about the inspiration for this book. And every story starts with a notebook. And you can see on the slide right now, a notebook that looks just like the notebook that I'm holding. I always start in the notebook. I do not write on the computer until I know the entire story. And I always have 2 notebooks in my bag, one for the book that I'm revising and one for the book that I'm writing. And I love that my sketchbook, my notebook, is always an arm's length away because I'm always thinking about my characters and my stories. And if you don't have a notebook or a sketchbook, I highly recommend getting one and always having it with you. And when I write in my notebook, I keep my ears open and I keep my heart open. Now, I live in Naperville, Illinois, but right now I am in New York City revising a story that comes out next year. I love to travel to places when I'm writing, and you see right now a library that's not too far from Veronica. Veronica lives in Pennsylvania, very close to Philadelphia, and this is the central branch of the Philadelphia Free Library System. And I once spent 8 hours in this room right here writing a poem that became This is a school. Now, I did not write the entire poem in that room, but I felt so much inspiration when I was inside of this room, and I had my notebook with me. And as I was writing in my notebook, I want to share with you what I was thinking about. First, I was thinking about this building right here, which is Brook Forest Elementary School in Oak Brook, Illinois. And this is where I was a third grade teacher, a fourth grade teacher, and a school librarian for 9 years. And I wrote down all of the memories that I had of my students and of our library and all of the exciting experiences that we had together through story. And then this is what I thought about. I thought about me when I was in the second grade. Look at how cool I was. I have my cat, Jessie, and I have one of my favorite books. And you can see right now the full version of that book. It is Oliver and Company. And when I was a kid, I loved to read books based on movies. And I am a reader today because of books based on movies like Oliver and Company and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And I would read any book that was based on a movie. So I was thinking about me when I was in the second grade. And then this is me in the third grade. And in the third grade, I loved to read the Guinness Book of World Records. I would check it out over and over and over again. So I was thinking about me in the library when I was a third grader. Then I was thinking about me when I was in the fourth grade. When I was in the fourth grade, I had a favorite TV show called He-Man and She-Ra. And as I was working on This Is a School, I was thinking about fourth grade me, and I was thinking about the positive experiences that I had, and I was also thinking about some of the negative experiences that I had, and how I wish that he had had a better fourth grade year than he did. And through This Is a School, I was able to create what I wished he had had in the fourth grade. And then I thought about me in the fifth grade, and I thought specifically about her. That's not me. That is my fifth grade teacher. Her name is Dr. Mary Margaret Reed, and this is what I looked like when I was in the fifth grade. And when I was in the fifth grade, I was having a lot of anxiety, and I was feeling really nervous a lot of the time. But I had Dr. Mary Margaret Reed, and she knew how to take care of my heart. She knew the types of stories that I needed. Books like this, Chickens. In the book, The Creativity Project, I get to write about my fifth grade teacher. And in the book, this is what I thank her for. I thank her for introducing me to this book called Chicken Soup with Rice, and how it changed me forever. And when I was in that room, I was thinking about this book as well as this book called Sideways Stories from Wayside School, which I read over and over again when I was in the fifth grade. And I was thinking about this book that she introduced me to called Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. And I was thinking about this book called the BFG, which I bet many of you out there are familiar with. And I was thinking about this book right here called Matilda. And in the Creativity Project, I write a story called Matilda and Me. And when I was sitting in that room, I was thinking about Matilda. I was thinking about Dr. Mary Margaret Reed, and the poem was able to come out of me so freely when I brought myself back to her classroom, and how I felt warm and safe and loving. So you can see the story is called Matilda and Me by John Schu, and I hope you'll read it. It's the perfect story to read during Teacher Appreciation Week. When I was in that room, I was also thinking about all of my students, and I was thinking about if I were to ask my students what they remembered about our school, what they remembered about our classroom, what they remembered about their experiences in the library, the words that came to mind for me, and I emailed a lot of my former students and I direct messaged them because now they're 25 and 26 years old, and the words that came to mind for them and for me were these words: play. That school can be a place of play, and that school is a place of creativity, and that school is a place of sharing, and that school can be a place of trust, and that school can be a place of hope, and that school can be a place of healing. And finally, when I was done writing this poem, I sent it to my editor, and we talked a lot about this word, connection. And for me, everything that I do comes back to the word connection, of how can we connect through stories, through the stories of others, and through our own story. And so this poem was sent to Karen Lotz, and Karen Lotz helped me make this better. And we wanted to make sure that this is a school celebrates everyone, that it celebrates the custodian, it celebrates the art teacher, it celebrates the music teacher, and most importantly, it celebrates you. And everyone here is in that position of you. And right away, Karen Lotz and I knew that the one and only Veronica Miller Jamison was the perfect person to take this very abstract poem and ground it and make it beautiful. And thankfully, Veronica liked the poem and she said yes to illustrating it. And now I'm going to turn it over to illustrator Veronica Miller Jamison, one of my favorite people on this planet.
Hi, John. Thank you so much for sharing that. So excited to be here to talk about This Is a School. I'm always excited to hear about your process for writing the book. And now I'm going to talk about my process for illustrating the book. So you can see this quote from me that John put together that says, "The school that you see on the cover of This Is a School pulls some inspiration from the elementary school I attended. The archway over the door and the colorful windows are both inspired by Beechwood Elementary's architecture." So let's talk about that. This is me in front of my elementary school at Beechwood Elementary. This is when I visited last summer. And again, when I first read John's manuscript for This Is a School, I had brought back all these memories of being a little girl, going to school every day and having teachers and friends and the custodian and the music teacher and the librarian who all really cared about me and my learning. So looking ahead, this is me as a little girl. And as you can see, when I was a little girl, I really loved art. I loved to draw, I loved to color, I loved to paint, and I was drawing all sorts of things all of the time. There is a little sunset in the fall that you see in the middle, and the girls on the end are some characters I came up with that I think were like fashionable superheroes. So this was a thing that I did a whole lot when I was a little kid. Looking ahead, this is me as a kindergartner. And when I was a kindergartner, I was leaving one school and going to the next school. So my first school went from preschool to kindergarten, and my next school went from first grade to fifth grade. So I was about to leave the school I'd known for a few years and go be the new kid in class. And that was really fun and exciting, but also kind of scary. So if you look ahead, this was the inspiration for me drawing This Is a School. I was thinking about going to school for the first time. Now, as an illustrator, my job is to take an author's words and put pictures to them. And it's really easy for me when the words are inspiring. So this passage from John was my initial inspiration for This Is a School. And this says, "Some days we get so excited, we can't wait to try something new." And I thought of this small child who was so excited about learning and couldn't wait to get to school. And he was the first character I came up with for This Is a School. And I'll show you on the next slide who he actually is. It is this little guy right here. So this is a picture of my husband when he was a little kid. My husband's name is David. We call him DJ in the book. And this is when he was a little kid in elementary school and he dressed up as Duke Ellington for his elementary school Halloween parade. He was very into science. He was very into music, as you can see. And so I just thought he was the perfect inspiration for the first character for This Is a School. And you can see next, this is the illustration that came out when we announced the book. So again, just a character who loves learning, who's excited about being at school, and who knows there's so much ahead of him in the school day. From there, the next thing I did was develop a whole cast of characters. And we meet all of these children in the book for This Is a School. And what I loved about this is that each character got their own story for the book. So The characters in the book, if you look closely, you'll see that they each have their own experience of coming to school for the first time. Some are nervous, some are scared, some are very excited, some make friends very easily. And I think we've all had those types of experiences. The next thing I'm going to show you is the drawings that inspired the book. So again, here is my elementary school, and this is a very, very rough sketch of the outside of the school in the book, This is a School. From there, I go and I do something called thumbnail sketches. These are tiny itty bitty sketches where I do quick drawings of every scene of the book. And you can see they're not very detailed. There are a bunch of little triangle people and some smiley faces, but it's just to get an idea of what the whole book will look like all together. Once I do that, the next thing I do is go play with color. This is my favorite part. I love color. I'm a painter. You can see my paintbrushes behind me. It's my favorite thing to do. So this is where I play with all of the colors and try to come up with a set of colors that will give me the feeling that I wanted to give in the book. And the feeling I wanted to give in the book was warm, bright, exciting, and happy. From there, I painted all of these colors on really big swatches if we look ahead. So I have this whole collection of big swatches of color that I just painted on pieces of paper and threw them on the floor, as you can see. And this is only about half of them. So I have a lot of swatches of these colors. And these are the colors that I would use to build the illustrations of This is a School. The next thing we're going to see is the process of taking an illustration from an itty bitty thumbnail to a full illustration. So this is the scene where all of the students come to school on the first day of school. Again, you can see their little triangle people. There's not a lot of detail. But on the next slide, there's more details. You can see their clothes, you can see their walking, and you can see the different expressions on their faces. And from there, I go to full color. So the full color illustration showing everyone arriving at school, everyone dressed in bright colors, and the bright colored banner welcoming everyone to the school for the first day. This was such a fun illustration to put together, and I feel like it just captures the excitement of arriving at your school. The next illustration is one of my favorites and also one of John's favorites in the book. And this is the theater scene. So there's a scene where all of the students at school come together to put on a play. And this was the inspiration for that scene. So again, this is the sketch. And looking ahead, you'll see the full color illustration. And so we created a play where all of the children are dressed up as tropical animals and exotic plants. Really fun, really colorful. I love this illustration. The fun thing about being an illustrator is that you can take people that you know and that you love and put them in the book. So if you look ahead, I've already introduced you to my husband, David. That's him as a grown-up playing the bongos. Again, I said he loves music and he loves science. So I turned him into a little itty bitty version in the book and gave him some bongos to play in music class. Next, I also have a student who is based on my niece. Her name is Callie. She's 6 years old, and she's one of my favorite people in the world. And I illustrated a character based on her and also her dad, who was my brother, based on him. And also you can see her mom in the picture too. So I really loved including her in the story. She's a really fun, sociable kid. And in the story, she has a little bit of difficulty because there's a moment where she's separated from her friends. And we all have to learn how to be away from the people that we care about. And eventually we all come back together. And then next, so the last thing I wanted to say is that I wanted to send a shout out to teachers and librarians and to thank them for helping kids create worlds and discover things. When I was a little kid, the other thing I did in addition to drawing all the time was go to my local library. So this is me waving in front of my local library back home in Pittsburgh. And every day after school, we would go up the street, I'd go in a library and I'd go in the stacks and I looked for books about drawing and art and painting and ballet and all sorts of other things. And it's just really great to be able to take all of that inspiration and those memories and put them in this book, This is a School. Thank you so much. Here's one other character, Goldie the fish. You'll have to look out for him in the book and see what his story is. And now I think we're going to go back to Anne. Anne, are you there?
I am. Oh my goodness, John and Veronica, I have loved hearing and listening to you both, but also seeing photos from your own school days and getting a peek into your creative writing and illustrating process. That has been so cool. Folks tuning in, we're starting to see some of your amazing questions come in. Remember, you can drop them in the Q&A chat feature right here in the event, and we'll get back to some of those questions in just a moment. But first, I think we have a special thing we'd like to do with John and Veronica. Now's a good time to take a selfie. So folks, if you want to get set up, move in front of your screen or your monitor, wherever it is you're watching, we'd love for you to share these photos with us on social. You can tag us at Flipgrid and be sure to tag our friends at Candlewick Class 2. So, John and Veronica, time to share some smiles. Friends, are you ready? Let's do it. Yeah, hold up your books, keep smiling. We see John's smile, Veronica's. So cool. Keep smiling, everybody. I know, this is the fun part. I cannot wait to see these photos come in. So awesome. Incredible, friends. I hope you were all able to get your selfies. I have my book too. I'm so excited. Now be sure to tag us when you post them using @Candlewick Class and @Flipgrid. All right, are you ready? It's time to get to some of your questions. Remember, you can submit them using that Q&A feature right here in the event. I want to start with this one. Mrs. Fuller's third graders are asking this, and John, we'll start with you. Okay. If you perhaps are a shy kid, what are some tips you have for getting involved at school?
Yeah, so as I shared when I was talking, I was a very, very shy child. I was a child that wanted to never be called on. I was a child that often had butterflies in my stomach, but I became less shy because of two things. Three things. One, a teacher who believed in me, Dr. Mary Margaret Reed, because she saw how shy I was, and she saw that books helped me become less shy, that stories helped me become less shy. The second thing that helped me was music. I loved music as a kid, and music allowed me to connect with people in a different way. And the third thing was theater, was that getting involved in theater and plays and acting helped me build confidence. And it was doing things that were really scary for me, but I saw that when I did them, I became less afraid. And when I did them, they became less scary. So a lot of it is being brave, and a lot of it is taking risks. And as a writer, I did not feel brave for a long time, because to be a writer is to be vulnerable. To be a writer is to put your heart on the page, and that can be scary. But I became less shy because of theater, because of music, and because of teachers who believed in me and saw something in me that I did not quite realize, and they helped me realize it through their encouragement and through them sharing their heart with me through story.
Oh my gosh, that is incredible insights and great tips. Thank you. Now, Veronica, we have an 8-year-old Falan who is watching, also saying Happy Teacher Appreciation Week. Veronica, we'd love to get some tips from you. They're curious, what are some nice things we can do for teachers to make sure they feel appreciated this week, but always?
Oh goodness, that's such a fun one. I think the easiest answer for me is make them something. I'm an artist. I love making things for the people I care about and I appreciate them. So you can make them a card. You can fold a piece of paper in half, draw a picture on the front and make them a card. You can make them a Valentine. You can make them a pinwheel. There's pinwheels in the book. Just make something with your hands because that means that you've put your love and appreciation into a thing that you can then give to someone.
Oh my gosh, incredible. Now, I think we have a reading from the book. We'd love to invite you to share a reading from This Is a School.
Oh, that would be super, super fun. So if you can just go back. And this is one of my favorite things about This Is a School. My heart smiled when our brilliant editor, Karen Lotz, and our designer, Ann Stott, emailed me what you're about to see. So press play, please. And you'll see when you take off the dust jacket, there is a surprise underneath. And that surprise is this poster. And on the poster, you'll see, well, let's go through it. You'll see the beautiful end papers with the pinwheels that Veronica mentioned. And when we take it off, we see it says happy, happy reading. And when I do in-person school visits, my favorite thing to do, and I'm going to do it right now virtually as well, is tell you all of the students' names, because Veronica named all of them. Their names do not appear in the text. So right now, Veronica is going to tell you all of the students' names, starting with Anna in the overalls.
Yes, so if we go from left to right, there's Anna in the overalls, there's Sam in the red striped shirt, there's his friend Evan, there is Callie, we met her a few minutes ago, there's Evie, there's DJ, who we also met, there's Noah, who we love so much, there's Nat, who is Sam's twin, and there's Amani and Ava at the end.
And recently a student named Joy asked me to write all of their names on the poster. And I said, I'm only doing this one time, but it made me so happy that Joy asked for that. So when we turn the page, we see the beautiful pinwheel end papers. And these you'll see throughout the story, the pinwheels show up and you see the beautiful, colorful palette that the wonderful Veronica created. When we turn the page, we see so much excitement. We see the bus driver and the bus driver's waving, and we see Anna and Amani and Evan and DJ and Ava and Nat and Sam, and they're running and they're always running. And you feel such a sense of possibility on this spread and such a sense of joy. And we turn the page and we see the principal giving Amani in her turtle's shirt a big high five. And the first line of the book, which was the first line I wrote in that room in Philadelphia that never changed, is "This is a kid." And we turn the page and we see a hallway with lots of energy.
This is a kid in a class. This is a class in a hall.
This is a hall in a school. And just let's pause for a moment. There's so much to take in here. We see the principal waving, and we see the art teacher hanging up a drawing, and we see Evan going into the art room, and we see the librarian with a big stack of books, and we see the gym teacher with a basketball, and we see the custodian waving, and we see lots of clues to things that happen in the story on the bulletin board, and we see Anna giving away all of her school supplies, and we see a teacher who is waving, a teacher who looks joyful, a teacher who we know creates a place of safety and trust and hope for all of the kids who are about to enter that classroom. And we turn the page and it says,
"Welcome."
And that's where we're going to stop. If you want to find out what happens next, I hope you'll pick up a copy of This Is a School, written by me, John Schu, and illustrated by Veronica Miller Jamison. And now we're going to pass it back over to Anne.
Oh my goodness, hearing you both talk about not only your own experiences and the locations of your own schooling and how those connections to folks in your life have impacted, inspired your creative process to write and illustrate this book. This has been so amazing. Now, folks who are tuning in, let me show you how to find today's Flipgrid topic of the day. And your students can use this topic to reflect on all that they have learned during today's event. It is as easy as launching your browser and typing in aka.ms/myschool. This will take you directly to today's Flipgrid topic of the day. And you see the book trailer for This is a School and a discussion prompt that your students can use to reflect on and respond to. You also notice that small blue button that says Add Topic. You can choose to add this topic to a group, create a new group, or save it for later. Remember to think of a group as your classroom. And this is what your students will see as they begin to reflect on this topic and submit their own video responses to share their learning and, of course, share what makes their school so special. They can have fun using all of those creative effects and expressions inside the Flipgrid camera. If you haven't seen them yet, be sure to check them out. And remember, you can use this in your classroom immediately following today's event as a follow-up activity. We're going to post that link in the chat for you to copy and paste and use right away. Now, John and Veronica, I know we're coming close on time, so I want to invite you both back to share any final thoughts you have. We have been so lucky to get to hear from your expertise and your creative process, but I'd love to have you share any final thoughts. Veronica, why don't you go first?
I just want to say again, happy Teacher Appreciation Day. And the final thought I want to leave with everyone is to be a good friend and be a good person.
Oh, that's beautiful, Veronica. And you are a good friend and you are a good person and you make the world better and you make the world brighter. And I also want to thank all of the teachers out there who work so hard every single day to connect with your students. And I think one of the best ways to connect is through reading aloud. And I want to thank all of the teachers out there who read aloud every single day, because I think the best way to get to know each other is through the stories that we read aloud, through the stories that we experience. And I know that books can be the perfect prescriptions to let us know that we are going to be okay. And I thank all of the teachers who put books into the hands of students, that tattoo love and tattoo light and tattoo joy on their students' hearts. I cannot thank Flipgrid enough and Candlewick Press enough for putting together this wonderful celebration of story and wonderful celebration of Teacher Appreciation Week. And I'm giving all of the teachers and all of the principals and all of the students and librarians the biggest, most heartfelt round of applause. And Anne, thank you for being an amazing person, an amazing host, and for sharing your heart and your energy with us today.
Oh my goodness, thank you both, John and Veronica. This has been so special, and I'm giving this a big hug because, as you have showed, This is a School means so much, so much. Thank you. This has been so special. And folks listening in, thank you for spending the last half hour with us. We are so grateful. Remember, we have Flipgrid live events every week, and we have an incredible lineup, and we'd love for you to join us for a future event as we learn together. You can head to aka.ms/Flipgrid live events for more information and, of course, to register for those upcoming events. Don't forget to check out the topic of the day. It is live on the Candlewick's Discovery Library page. Friends, thank you again. John, Veronica, thank you. We'll see you out there, everybody. Take care. Bye.